Good morning. How is everyone? Nice and cold? It was 10 degrees coming on the way in on the car. Firstly, I just want to say thank you to Christina and to being part of this breakfast. Innovation is part of everything that I do and part of my life. One of the key things we're going to do today at the end, which we didn't do last year, we're going to have some key learnings. So please write down anything that triggers you or comes out, because at the end, everyone's got a different blueprint. Everyone's going to hear something different today and they're going to go, wow, I can really put that in my business. So at the end, we're going to spend 5 minutes and then we're going to go through it and just throw it out on the board so everyone can go away with. I've done so many seminars around the world and this is probably the key thing that really helps. So just a quick show of hands. Who came to the Innovative Breakfast last year? Excellent. So congratulations for innovation being part of your life. One of the things that I covered off last year, and I want to give it to you again this morning because it's a big thing. I want to give you a tool so when you go away from here today, it'll help you work out what's the right innovation for you and your business. And that is, I want to make sure that you walk away by saying to you, put context to the innovation that you do in your business. So you might go, what do I mean by this context? So, if I just said to you, Glenn, if I just said to you red, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Red. 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 Okay. What if I put some context to red? So what if I said, what does red mean to you in the context of traffic? Murray? What does it mean to you in the context of stop? What does it mean to you in the context of traffic? Stop. So we all get aligned. So guys, innovation without context is ineffective. Can be very, very expensive. Can be trial and error. I've actually done it in my business. Many years, about 5 years ago, I'd take my staff to Melbourne Cup. I'd take my staff away to the bridge climb, weekends away, because that's what I thought you had to do to be a great employer, and just kept taking them away. I did a lot of innovation without context. Does that make sense? So what did I do? So about 3 years ago, so I've been in business about 12 years. So this only happened about 3 or 4 years ago. So up till then, I was just making mistakes like any other business owner. So I met a company, Altus Q, and they changed my life. I went through a process of working out what my why and what was. So I got so clear on why am I in business. So everything I do is to grow into my potential, my staff's potential, my client's potential, everything. That's why I get out of bed every morning. So that was the first thing. So everything that I do now is in line with that context of growing to my potential. So that's why I brought Yogaland. You might think, why did you go and do Yogaland? I don't need to go and do Yogaland, but everything's about growing for me. So I want to keep challenging myself. So that was step number 1. Once I got really clear on my why, the next thing we spent time on was working out, the outcome. The outcome for our clients, Christina talked about, is changing people's lives. That's the outcome of what we do. But my whole why is about growing into your potential. So then we went through this process of working out what's the actual vision for the business? What are we actually building? And don't keep it a secret. We don't keep this a secret. It's throughout the office. But it's so important. Why am I telling you this? This is the vision of my whole business. I have no issue telling any account or any other business in the world because it's my vision. Everything that we do now in the business, any bit of innovation, is linked to this vision. So if I bring in the BRW awards for the best place to work, and you'll love this one because I always get this. Oh, Paul, I hear you've got a table tennis table and a pool table. I'm going to go and put one in for the staff. First thing I hear, ineffective innovation. Because they're doing it without context. Does that make sense? Hello? Okay. So, one of our visions is to be the #1 engaged accounting business in Australia. So if that's my context to be the #1 engaged accounting business, my activity that I do in the business links to this. So I went and put the pool tables and all that stuff in. That was a byproduct. The thing that engages staff is not pool tables and table tennis and pizza ovens and all that stuff. It does not inspire, that doesn't engage staff. They want to know where the business is going. And that's a big point I'm going to bring home at the end. So, Is that all? So what happens next? So you go through, you work out your why, you work out your vision, so you've got context now. What happens next? So what we did next was we got a core set of values. So we have 5 values. Everything that we do in the business is linked to these 5 values. How we service clients, how we show up, we reward staff on it every month in our rewards. They get to spin the wheel, they've got some cool stuff happening. The point I want to get across is this one. One of our values is push the boundaries, innovate, work smarter, think outside the square, do whatever it takes. And the last one, can I? Constant and never-ending improvement. This is throughout our organisation, so it's embedded in me. And that's an important point that I want to get across to you in a moment. I just want to make sure I don't miss one thing. So, innovation, guys, comes from seeing what others do. So, Christina, you mentioned before Google. I get my inspiration from Google, Atlassian, Zappos. Everyone knows these companies, surely. Who knows the big guy, Tony Robbins? Who knows who Tony Robbins is? He's a big guy overseas. Everyone calls him a motivator. He's not a motivator. Tell him that to his face, he'll probably flatten you. But what he is, he's a peak performance coach. And why I'm telling you that, innovation, guys, comes from what other people are doing. Here's the beauty about Tony Robbins' material. None of the material is his. Zero material is his. But because he has this whole thing in him about bettering himself, wanting to constantly and never-ending improve, wherever he goes, whatever he reads, the guy's gift is to be able to package that and teach it to other people. So the message is, guys, innovation is not inventing. You don't need to go and think innovation is inventing. Because innovation, you hear that word, and I'll tell you truthfully, I was intimidated by it. I felt inadequate. I didn't feel enough. You don't have to feel enough. You don't have to go and invent stuff. But if you have constant and never-ending improvement and actual betterment as your context, it will show up. So Christina, thank you for this one. About a month ago, I met with Christina in the boardroom, and she told me the Jobs story, because I didn't know this. So did you know? So how much of the stuff that Jobs did he actually invent? Was he an inventor? If you think that's bullshit. So do you know one of the stories? Who's got a Mac? Who's got an Apple Mac? Okay. Do you know there's the Mac? I didn't know this. My kids have one, and I learnt out after Christina told me this is how bad it is. You know the magnetic strip, the magnetic cord? So how did Jobs come up with that? Did he just one day think of it and go, ha? So just so you know, he was in Malaysia. He saw, maybe this is not the exact story, but it's going to be good enough for this morning. He was in Malaysia. So he was in Malaysia and he saw this kid with a wok on the stove, a hot wok. The kid walked past. What do you think the kid did? Grabbed the cord with his leg. Instead of the actual wok, falling off the stove and scolding the kid, the cord came away. It was a magnetic cord. So what did he do? Come up with an invention? No. Because he always had this constant, never-ending improvement. I want innovation part of my life. He came up with it and put it into his business. So guys, another word for me, and my PA yesterday said, is betterment a word? It is a real word. It is a real word. Innovation is just bettering. If you have this as your context, then it will show up in everything that you do. Let me give you an example of where betterment was not displayed. And hopefully there's no owners of these. Gloria Jeans. What happened to Gloria Jeans? I feel really sad listening and saying this to you. They had the market sewed up. What didn't they do? Forget innovation, don't use that word. They didn't have someone at the top who was there to drive betterment, who was there to drive constant improvement. They just needed a little bit of tweaking to their brand, their model and coffee. And what happened to them? They started going like this. What happened to Blockbuster? Everyone knows the story. And this one, in my profession, who has MYOB as their accounting software? Does anyone have MYOB? No people have MYOB as their accounting software. Wow, they really did a bad job. So what happened to MYOB? They had the market stitched up as well. And then they let this thing called Xero. Has anyone got Xero? Oh, that's a bit better. So they let Xero in because they just didn't have someone who was actually there to who had innovation or betterment as their context. So, this is something I truly, truly, truly believe, and it's probably the most important thing I want to get across to you today. I truly believe for your business to really, really have innovation as its cornerstone or within the framework, the visionary or the leader of that business needs to want to be a better husband, needs to want to be a better person or a wife, needs to want to be a better friend, needs to want to be a better brother or sister, and needs to want to be a better business person. If that person at the top does not have that betterment in them, that wants to constantly and never improve, I don't care who it is or what business it is, they will not be an innovative business. So when you're listening to these speakers today, put context to it. Just think about it and go, wow, how can I use something that triggers me to use in my business? Don't think, wow, Google does this, I feel inadequate. Think, okay, how can I put that into practice, into my vision? And if you don't have a vision, I said it last year, go and get a vision. It's so important. You've got to know where you're going. And the last thing too, I'll leave you with, proximity is power. Have a look at businesses that have betterment and constant never-ending improvement, innovation as their framework. And go and sit with them. Go and stalk them. Go and talk to these people. Have them on your list to get on their newsletters. Have them on your list to actually do stuff with them, because they're the ones that are going to inspire you. Proximity is power. If I carry a bag of poo with me for a day, what am I going to start smelling like? Have a look at the people that you're hanging around. Have a look at the businesses that you're getting inspiration from, and that will actually help you and inspire you go forward. So, just to conclude, my main points. If you're the leader of your business, what do you need to do to actually get innovation in there? What do you need to do to actually put constant improvement and betterment in your business? Or are you doing everything you possibly can? If you're an employee of a business and you're working for them and they don't have innovation or betterment as the visionary or the leader, just make a choice whether you want to be there or not. Don't blame, make a choice to be there or not. Work out a list of businesses that you can actually follow and get in their proximity or their circle. And the third one, if you haven't got a vision, go and get a vision. Please make sure you write down key learnings. We're going to go through it in 5 minutes at the end. Enjoy the morning. These are great speakers, and thank you for being here. Thank you.